Hey guys, welcome to this second module in a series on management information systems for development and humanitarian program monitoring. In this module, we'll be looking at Comcare basics, and what we'll be doing is we'll be looking at a paper tool and seeing how we can digitize this most effectively in Comcare. The actual tool we'll be looking at is this initial assessment for health facilities by the UNHCR, and obviously it's a shortened version. And we should end up with something like this. Now it looks daunting and like a lot, but don't worry, we'll be going through it step by step. As you'll see here in the course overview, the first video is this video, of course, and the next video will be creating the initial application and putting in some first questions. Then video number 3 will be deploying and testing the application. Now this is something very important that'll come up frequently. After finishing a section or part of your form, you should always deploy and test to see if everything is working properly. Then in our fourth video, we'll be looking a bit at multiple choice and display logic. So that is single and multiple response questions, and also then displaying or skipping questions depending on the choice selected in previous questions. In video number 5, we'll be looking at updating an application and reverting to a previous version. So there's a quick way actually of updating your application on your tablet or mobile phone. So video number 6, structuring specify other with question lists. So this is all about the structure of our forms. It's very important that we keep a certain naming hierarchy, which will make it a lot easier for analysis. And you'll see what I mean once we get to this video, but also in the next module, which is all about Power BI basics. Then 7th video is validation conditions. This means limiting the response to a specific logic. So for example, with numeric questions, if I want the response to be a number between 1 and 7, we can edit the validation conditions in order to ensure that our mobile workers cannot enter anything above 7 or below 7. Then calculating with hidden values and Comcare functions. So this is all about, for example, if you enter a date of birth and you want to calculate the age of the respondent and then also feed this back to your enumerator. This is the type of thing we can do with hidden values and Comcare functions. Then digitizing table style questions. Again, this will become more clear once we actually look at the paper form, but there are these particular table style questions which might seem a little bit tricky to digitize, but there is a specific technique to it, and it's what we'll be discussing in that video. Then repeating tables. If we have a little list within our form where we're expected to repeat the same questions numerous times, for example, a observations and action list, we would use repeating tables for that. Then in video number 11, we'll take a bit more detailed look at question hierarchy, especially using question groups for delineating sections within a form, and then even using question groups to create subsections within our sections. Then video number 12 is all about it's essentially a little practical. So I ask you to go ahead and do 2 of the subsections yourself, and then we compare in this video how I did it versus how you did it yourself. Number 13 is copy and pasting the XML code to and from Excel. So Comcare is a drag and drop, or uses a drag and drop form builder, but it's also possible to copy and paste this information directly to Excel and thereby seeing more or less the code behind what you see on your drag and drop form editor. Then question lists and dynamic text display. So we use question lists, for example, when we have a bunch of different questions which are all related, and we might want to show them on one screen to make it easier and quicker for your mobile workers to enter the data in them. And then dynamic text display is all about displaying the results of one question inside another question. Then at this stage, we'll have finished building out our form, and we'll look a bit at application settings. Then we'll look at how best to export the data and what to keep in mind when exporting data. The 17th video is all about mobile workers and web users. So when we're creating mobile workers, what are the different options and what should the different naming conventions look like? And for web users, we'll go a bit into the different roles that there are. So from admin all the way through to read-only accounts. Then video 18, mobile worker reports and editing forms after submission. So a lot of the times we'd actually use Power BI to create our mobile worker reports and keep track of who submitted what form when. But Comcare actually does have some handy reports which you additionally can automatically email to a project manager or a supervisor. And then finally, we'll go over the Comcare best practice checklist. So this is just a checklist with a list of best practices divided up by different categories, and which you can use when you're building out your forms or your application. All right, see you in the next video.